Hi, it's me, Ingrid INFP. And I've been feeling really tired and not done much this weekend. Um, I don't know, I feel like I'm sleeping during the day, not really getting the energy to do anything. Um, I have some books which I'm not reading, so I have the pile here with the waves, which is in a cute format though. I think I'm the first person at the library to read this book because some of the pages are glued together. Like, you see? I'm the first person to read this from the library. So I don't know why they got this book, but they usually say like, when did they get this book? And it says that they got this book in 2011. And since 2011, this book has been hanging out at the library. Nobody has been reading it. So thank you for the recommendation. I'm having a hard time reading it because you guys who have read the book understand that it's not like any other book. People talk in... It's basically like a play. All of the characters talk and like it's basically just a lot of soliloquies of people. And I keep messing up like which girl and which guy is who and what's the difference between them. And that's why it's a little bit difficult for me to get through this book. But it does seem pretty interesting because it's following the lives of like this group of friends. They're like 6 characters or something. And they have the metaphor of the waves as kind of like the different stages of life. The sunrise at the beginning. I'm not even at midday. I mean, it's like a whole day with the waves, and each chapter, I think, is going to be like a separate chapter of these people's lives, pretty much. Although I don't think it's separated in chapters, but there are kind of like interludes of like, oh, this is what the sun is doing right now over the waves. And yeah, I find it pretty interesting. Now, I also took up this book because it's one of the recommended on Goodreads, and I'd seen this at the library before, so I thought, oh, well, since it has such good recommendations, I'll take it. It's from 2023. It's called The Lives of Puppets, and it has a really cool cover with like tree houses and stuff. Obviously, you shouldn't judge a book by a cover, but that's what I do, so. And it just seems like pretty cool fantasy novel. And it has this little sticker, which means that it is queer. I mean, I haven't actually even read like the blurb, so I probably should. I was just like attracted by the cover, but I didn't see that there was this. We have a pretty good library that has queer books, so that's always exciting. I also took out this book, Kazuo Ishiguro's The Unconsoled, because I've read most of Kazuo. Like, look, here's all the books that he's written. I've read this one, this one, this one. I haven't read these 2, and I haven't read this one, because the only one out of these 3 that is at the library is this one. But A Pale View of the Hills is supposed to be good. I haven't read that. But I wanted to read The Unconsoled. It's not one of his best rated books because it's so long and apparently pretty confusing. But I know that I like it because I like all of Kazuo Ishiguro's books. And then I got this book that was recommended by this Facebook group called... It's basically a Swedish group for doctors who are getting diagnosed for ADHD. And there isn't one for autism, so I joined the group, I posted a thing, I get certain responses that kind of help. Like, me relieve my anxiety that I'm not alone in like this complicated process. People write extremely long like posts because they're all people with ADHD pretty much. So it's pretty fun. But like I realize I have too much ADHD to deal with that site pretty much, because it's just like I can't reply like a long, well thought of texts because I'm always putting it off. Okay, so they recommended to me this book about ADHD on the job. It's written by the same person who wrote another Swedish book called ADHD from a good girl to burnt out woman, basically this name, which I've read. Really good book. Though it didn't tell me a lot of new stuff, it was just pretty much like, light reading about ADHD, and it did give a little bit of insight into how the ADHD brain works in women. But this one is about on the job. So what is pretty cool about this book is that it has, after every chapter, there's tips for the boss. And it tells you, as a boss, how you can help your coworkers with ADHD. So kudos to this book for figuring that was something that was needed. That it's not just people with ADHD who might be reading this book. There might be some good bosses out there that actually want to help people with neurodivergencies. Then there are like these facts boxes, and there are different testimonies of from different people who have had who have ADHD and have hard time at their job and such. So these are good books. I took these out to the library. I'm just taking out more and more books because I think that I'll have a lot of time to read them while I'm at psychiatry. It's pretty chill. I mean, they don't really work that hard at psychiatry, at least not the doctors. The nurses, the nursing assistants work really hard with like taking care of these people every day, but the psychologists and the psychiatrists, mostly the doctors, sometimes I wonder, like, are they just lazy? But they admitted themselves that the pace is so very slow compared to other places because it's a very they say that there's rarely a life or death situation, basically. I found out that they don't have any visits on Friday afternoons. So I came to work on Friday afternoon, on Friday morning, and I had one patient. And then it was like I had 2 telephone calls in the afternoon. That was it. And when I called the specialist doctor in the morning to like have a checkup on like what I needed to do for the day and if I had any questions, I was like, is this supposed to be like this? And he said, oh, Fridays afternoons we're just lazy and we don't work. And I was like, okay. So yeah, they don't work on Friday afternoons. They have given me Wednesday afternoons off because it's my study time, which I usually have every week. And then on Tuesdays, which is when I go to, I don't work at psychiatry on Tuesdays. It's the only day I go back to my workplace and fix what I need to fix. So there I have patients in the morning and I have administration in the afternoon because I need to deal with a lot of different papers that come in, like the work doesn't stop there just because I'm at psychiatry. So I'm doing a lot of just administrative work. And in the morning, I only have a patient at 11. Sometimes I have a patient at 10, but it's like I don't start work at 8. Like, I come at 8 and there's nothing to do. There's just for me to read about the patients. And then at like 9, 9:30, 10, the psychiatrist calls me and we go through my patients for like 5 to 10 minutes. And it's like, nothing is happening. So I got a message from one of the, I don't know if she's a nurse or a secretary, but somebody who's involved in like booking the times for the patients. And I responded within minutes because I'm used to like that pace where I'm like, okay, as like if I can answer to this email as soon as possible, then I won't need to deal with this problem anymore. I just do stuff, and like I had nothing to do. Like literally I was sitting in front of the computer like, okay, what's next? And I'm so used to like having always something to do because, well, that's how things usually go as a doctor. You're always busy with something. And it's like I replied within minutes. She told, like in the message she said, can you go and come to this room so that we can discuss this patient? And it was the patient that I told you guys before that is actually somebody that I know that has probable ADHD, and that is my ESFJ's colleague's son who helped me fix my sofa. So I got a message about him basically, and I was like, oh shoot, what did I do wrong in my referral or anything? And basically she just wanted to tell me that that I was going to get this patient, and that if I needed any help, I could go and ask them. But I don't need any help right now because like the patient is going to be booked anyway, not by me, and I'm not going to be meeting this patient yet. So it's only once I meet him that I'll be able to say anything. But so minutes after I got the message, like 20 minutes after, not minutes, like 10, 15 minutes after, I responded to a message. And like 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, I knocked on the door that was indicated. And they were in the middle of a meeting. And basically, they just finished talking about this patient and gone over to the next patient when I came in. Like, they've been talking about the same patient for like more than a half an hour, at least, after they sent that email. So they must have been talking about that patient for 1 hour. And they were so surprised to see me. They were like, oh, you saw my email? And I was like, yeah, that's why I came. And they said, oh, but we didn't think that you respond until way later. And I was like, okay. It was pretty awkward. And then afterwards, once we'd the day after, the nurse came to me and said, she was like, oh, you've got that's so great that you answer your email so quickly, because since then she sent me several more emails and I replied to them within the hour. Sometimes it takes me like I wait until the end of the morning or the end of the afternoon, but I always respond the same morning or the same afternoon. Usually I respond to the emails the same day. But they were so surprised, which leads me to think that psychiatrists just take ages to respond to their emails and take ages doing anything that they ever do. And I don't want to like make fun of psychiatrists, but it's kind of like if it's too quick, even for me, who is like, pretty stressed out by things going too quick, then something is not going exactly right in the system, you know? Maybe they should be working a little bit more. Or maybe they're doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes that I'm not seeing. But I don't think that the psychiatrists are doing a lot behind the scenes. I think that they're mostly like checking their phones and going on a long walk, or like, you know, they show up at 9, you know. It's it's not the usual pace of healthcare. But it does make me sad for the patients who have to wait like months before they get to the psychiatric care. Because like I'm feeling restless, you know, when I'm there. I'm like, oh, I need to do this. I need to do more things, you know? And so I end up like doing all of my work for my general workplace. But then I do all this stuff. And then it's like, okay, so I spent an hour doing that. But now I have an extra hour. What am I going to do now? So I've been reading a lot of books. But I don't want to just be seeming like I don't have anything to do, because I don't want them to give me more work. So I kind of like twiddle my thumbs at work by finding things for myself to do. I mean, I am in a pretty special position because I'm like the highest qualified doctor there that is not training to become a psychiatrist. So that's where it's like I am capable of a lot of stuff, but I'm also not capable of a lot of psychiatric stuff. So they don't really know what to place me, what to do with me. But it is kind of nice to take it slow for once and to be able to get on with other things in my life. But I can see why they take it so slowly, because I don't know why I've been so tired, but it might have been that my brain has been overloaded with information. It's always difficult the first week that you're at a new place. But I think that it kind of buzzed my brain, because yesterday I almost had a panic attack. Well, I didn't have a panic attack, but I don't know what was going on. I think it was because my laundry machine didn't work still, and also because I missed the bus, and so I had to walk for half an hour. But it's like I spent all of yesterday not doing much except for the laundry. I've been trying to read, but not really managing. I've been trying to... I wanted to go to the cinema to watch a movie, but this town doesn't have a lot of great movies at the moment. I went to see the Miyazaki Boy and the Heron, but they don't show it in my town, so that sucks. There are a lot of things that are like, I don't know, I just felt like tightness in my chest when I was outside, and I felt like I was having trouble breathing, and I was like, okay, I think that I'm going to have a panic attack if I don't return home soon. I didn't know what it was that was triggering me, but I just did not feel right. And nothing felt right when I came home. I was like, oh, dying. Then I put the weighted blanket on me and like fell asleep for like an hour. And I woke up feeling a little bit better. And then I finally got some energy to take a shower. But I didn't feel better after the shower. And I then scrolled on my phone for like hours and fell asleep then. And so today has not been much different. Today I went to the grocery store because I finally got my HelloFresh, and so now I need to... the HelloFresh is coming next week, so I needed to buy olive oil, because that's something you need apparently. So I bought that, and I bought like the rest of the groceries for the week, and I was depressed by the prices. And then there is no bus that goes to that grocery store, so I had to walk half an hour home. I don't know what it is. My brain is not really functioning right now. I mean, I'm feeling much better now than like at the beginning of 2023, and there are several months were just like gone. But there are some days that are ups and downs, and right now it's kind of a down. I'm kind of not feeling much motivation to do much. I have been doing my journaling because I have this little notebook thing. So that's good. One of my New Year's resolutions was to keep a journal. But it's pretty boring in my journal because, like, what did I do today? Well, I went grocery shopping, you know. But I'm trying to keep that going. I'm trying to book myself into some kind of uni course or some other course. I found out that you can study cat behavior at the university. So we'll see if I get into that. That would be pretty fun. But I prioritized another course called Flora and Fauna, which has biology and like zoology and botany, which is distance course. So that would be fun. What other courses were there? There was one that was called like gender psychology. So that would be pretty interesting. Like how do we think around gender and such? All these courses are free, by the way, so that's why I'm lucky to live in Sweden. But what other courses were there? There was another one that was about cults, which would have been fun, but like I can't spend more energy reading about cults. I mean, this is like getting ridiculous. There was another one that was learning Dutch, like just digital, so mostly reading Dutch. There was another that was about learning Somali, which there are a lot of people who are Somali in my town, and it would actually help me to know Somali, but like only in my town. That's why I didn't take that course, because I didn't choose it because, well, it's only worth it in my town, or if I one day go to Somalia, which I don't think will ever happen. So that was an interesting course, but I'm not going to be taking that. Oh, by the way, the weighted blanket is actually my patient's, which is very strange. I was just thinking about that now. I should probably give it back to him because he probably does have ADHD and he probably needs this.